Take it away, Paul. Well, we can't hear Paul, so this is Stephanie Concoy, the Vivid Engagement Director. I'll just go ahead and get us started. Paul Shevin, our moderator, will be here shortly. Welcome to today's webinar, What is New? HP LoadRunner 12.02, HP Performance Center 12.2, and StormRunner 1.30. Next slide, please. Great, and thank you, Shane. Today's webinar is brought to you by HP Software. Next slide. Once we get Paul in here, we're having a little technical difficulties. Paul Shevlin is the Vivid Florida chapter leader, and he will be moderating and hosting today's webinar. Next slide. Our speakers today are Shane Evans. Shane is the Senior Product Manager with HP Software. And our second speaker is Mukulika Kappas. She is the Senior Product Manager with HP Software as well. Just a little housekeeping before today's webinar begins here with our presenters. Today's webinar is a live session. It's being recorded. And the webinar recordings will be available to all Vivid members in the next day or so. You will receive a follow-up email with the link to the webinar recording and the slide deck on the Vivid website in the next few days. You're going to have a lot of questions as we go through the webinar. So you will see a questions pane to type those questions into. And then on the next slide, you'll see what it looks like here. And here is a view of the webinar control panel. You just expand the pane and type your question in and send it. And Paul will be asking the questions to Shane and Mukulika throughout the presentation. So without much...
Can folks hear me now?
Wonderful. Paul is here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened.
All right, Paul.
So, Stephanie, thank you so much for taking over. Appreciate that. Just on behalf of all Vivid members, I'd like to thank Shane and Mukulika for taking time out of their busy schedules to share their wealth of knowledge with us today. And as Stephanie mentioned, we have the control panel where you may ask questions, and you have an arrow that allows you to toggle back and forth between the session and the control panel. You may also open in full screen mode if needed. Next slide, please, Shane. Okay, so what is new in HP Performance Engineering? Sylvia Secura, who is our HP Product Marketing Manager. Can you please speak to this for us? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Paul, and it's a pleasure to be with you guys today. Thanks for joining this webinar. We are very excited about the new version of LoadRunner and Performance Center and also StormRunner. Not sure how many of you guys know about StormRunner, but we have very good new stuff here today to present to you. And can you go to the next slide? Before diving in the introduction, because I'm going to just present a quick introduction here, and then I'm going to give it to Shane and Mukulika. I want to go to some questions. I want to know you guys. I have two quick poll questions here for you. So if you can answer to me, what products are you using for performance testing today? Are you using our products, StormRunner, LoadRunner, Performance Center, or are you using also some other products together, like JMeter, Microsoft, NoLoad, or so on? Because I know that some companies sometimes have different business units and they might use different tools. So mark all that apply for you right now. And I would like to see what your company are using today. Yeah, so please take some time, quick time here. Let's see how much progress I do have in my polling. I think I have 61% of people voting. I would like to get at least to 70%. So if you are kind of distracted a little bit, just vote here quickly. I want to see your vote. You're almost there. Yeah, okay, I got it, my 70%. That's awesome. Thank you guys for participating. Stephanie or Paul, do you want to show the results? No? There we go. So we have 90% of the participants using HP solutions. 60% is also using JMeter with our solutions. Some people have Microsoft. Very few new load and very few SOAS. So that's good. That's good to know. And we have very good news regarding JMeter in this presentation, so that's why also we are asking that. But let's go to the next question, and let's see a little bit more about you guys. So the next question is regarding which version you are using for HP products. So we want to get a hint here. Are you in the version 12.02 or 12.20, the latest version? And the GA was in January, February, actually, time frame. And then the version 12 or version 11.5 or even below version. But if you have multiple versions as well, let us know, please. So you can click here. Let's see, 50%. Oh, very good. You guys are rocking here now. You're going very fast. That's good. Okay, 65, 7%, a little bit more, get to 70%. Yep. Okay, that's good participation, guys. Again, I got 75 participation. It's still growing. Okay, very, very good. I like to see that. And I like to hear also what you guys are doing. So, Stephanie, do you want to show the results now? Thank you. So, oh, look at that. That's surprising in some way. We still have 47% of customers using 11.5. Oh, guys, you are missing the ball here. Version 12 has so much cool stuff you might want to upgrade. And version 12 and 12.02, I mean 12.20, has so much new stuff, so we need to get you updated. And feel free to contact us even offline, and if you have any issues or information that you need regarding upgrade to the next version, let us know. So do you want to go to the next slide, Stephanie, please? Yeah, so I want just to do a quick introduction here in terms of what your focus when you design the new version 12.2 and 12.20, and also a little bit of where the market is heading, right? As you can see, like we are moving more and more to a mobile world. I doubt that you probably have like just one mobile device in your house. Probably you have like 2 to at least like 5 or even sometimes 10 if you count all the households and people that have cell phone around you in your house. So as you can see, the mobile world is growing in everything. And even myself, for anything that I do in my computer, I always look for a mobile application to kind of make easier my life. And that's what people are doing, like doing all the transactions and whatever they need, like purchases and schedule. And even like these days, I download a new application for recipes. So I'm moving very fast in all mobile world. And as you can see, it's playing everywhere in the business. And for the business to be in the market and very competitive, they need to catch up. And catching up with mobile world might bring some challenge, like the network, the cloud, the remote, and then also the connections that you have with the system. So we are thinking that we need to help you guys to be prepared for this mobile world that's coming and how we can do that, right? So can you go to the next slide, please? And then with that too, you can see here that some of the data points, like 30 billion of the, I would say, estimate number for attachments in applications within 2020. So around 30 billion of things that's going to be attached to internet. And we have more than like 6.8 trillion of mobile phones planned for like 2013. So the number is growing so much. And how you, performance engineers, quality testers, and I would say even mobile product managers, or even I would say QA managers, make sure that you deliver applications with quality. Next, please. And then also with that, the applications get more complex, as I mentioned. You can click next, and then you're going to see that how to keep the user expectations also with quality. That's a major challenge for you guys, right? And then you can see that, unfortunately, like 50% of the users, they are going to delete the application if they encounter a bug. Or even like for performance, right? Everyone, I'm sure you too, doesn't have too much patience to wait applications that are slow. And then I'm just downloading a new application about a conference that I'm attending these days, and it's interesting because the application was like so buggy, and I'm like, you know what, I don't even should try anymore. And guess what? It's like one more person or a couple of people that's not going to access anymore that application, at least for a while, right? So you lose basically the users. And then the applications are more complex in how to test that. And then the next one, please. And then we can talk about also, right, the demands for the business, how to deliver fast. And then can you continue to click, Stephanie, please? And then as you can see, you are tasked to deliver your application faster and with quality. And how to do that, right? So in this version, and you can go to the next slide, in this version 12.02 and 12.20, we are focused in providing you capabilities to deliver application fast with quality in the mobile environment as well. Not just web and legacy environments, but also enabling you more and more with agile, mobile, continuous testing, continuous delivery. You can go to the next one. As I mentioned before here, so the three major factors of success for you is help you to deliver application across different platforms. As you can see, our solutions are multi-platform, helps you with the legacy, with other systems like web, but also focus a lot on the mobile performance, and helps you to ensure that your user have a great experience. With that, I'm going to hand to Shane, and we're going to go through details about features that we have for LoadRunner and Performance Center 12.20, and right after, Mukulik is going to talk about the StormRunner. Okay, so feel free to add questions as we go through this particular information to you, and we're going to be also answering the questions by the end of the webinar. Here is just an example of a customer, BS SkyB, that also gain a lot of productivity with the new version. So we definitely want you guys to upgrade to the new version. So let us know if you have any questions. And with you, Shane.
Thank you, Sylvia. So yes, SkyB, a British Sky Broadcasting Company, is just one example of many customers that help us through our development and design process for LoadRunner, Performance Center, and StormRunner. And if you're interested in joining part of the beta program or beta customer program or design partnership, you can simply reach out to myself, Shane Evans, shane.evans@hp.com, and we can help get things moving there. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that we've done in LoadRunner and Performance Center in this release. A lot of this will be continuation on a theme that we introduced in version 12 around the scalability of testing applications both internally and externally, the speed at which we deliver our value back to the business in terms of how quickly we can produce results, how we can gain insight earlier in the application lifecycle, and how we really want to help you reduce the cost, the overall cost of ownership of running these tests on a continual basis. So in version 12, we introduced a cloud testing feature which allows you to spin up load generators in the public cloud. It started with Amazon support in version 12.0, and we added HP Helium support in 12.01. 12.02 for LoadRunner and 12.20 for Performance Center, which we'll talk a bit about the difference in the numbering there in a second. Both support Microsoft Azure as well. Now, Azure doesn't yet support the concept of these public sort of images for spinning up load generators on demand, but this is something that we've provided detailed instructions for you on in both the documentation as well as the LoadRunner Performance Center blog. So the goal here really is to save time and money in terms of how we provision machines, the cost of keeping them alive. For example, a machine sitting in the public internet for a year costs somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000, and that's not including the kind of cost for administration, security hardening, and all of the effort that goes into making sure that you can connect to those machines when needed. So we've really simplified the process and built it into the product for you to enable that to happen in an automated way. We've also done a lot of work around continuous testing. First, in 11.5.2 in LoadRunner with the support of Jenkins execution, and in version 12.20 for Performance Center, we also support Jenkins as well as a number of other features in and around kind of the overall continuous testing. The idea here is that we want to enable you to test earlier in the life cycle, to test more frequently, so that you're getting insight with each and every build and earlier in the release, so that you're actually able to make changes to these applications before they go into production. Another feature that we've added in this area in 12.02 in LoadRunner is the noise generator. Now, we've heard from a number of customers over the years that, wouldn't it be great if I could just throw a simple load at my application while I'm also creating this sort of complex business processes that I'm interested in. And we know that a large percentage in some cases of users are just hitting sort of the base URL of your application. So we wanted to be able to provide that capability in LoadRunner without a significant cost to generate the loads. This is a 10x number of virtual users per your licensed virtual users. So if you have 100 virtual user licenses, it means you have 1,000 noise virtual users at your disposal. It's currently only available for web and only available in LoadRunner while we get kind of feedback and understanding whether or not this is providing the users with significant value. Also in Performance Center, now we support the concept of unit test execution. So in LoadRunner earlier version, we introduced the ability to execute Selenium, JUnit, or NUnit scripts as part of a scenario. This is also supported in Performance Center today. And in Performance Center, you also have the ability, sorry, I should step back a second. As I mentioned earlier, the execution from Jenkins has been supported in LoadRunner 11.5.2. It's now supported in Performance Center. But you also have this flexible REST API that you can use to integrate with non-Jenkins platforms or just to call ad hoc tests from your development environment. We're also continuing to invest in the usability of the product, ease of use, really understanding, how do we enable you to test faster and with fewer steps. And we've done this, continue to do this in a number of ways. So in LoadRunner, we're enhancing the documentation. So from a user perspective, if you're the person developing scripts, we're providing a more detailed set of scenarios and demonstrations in terms of videos or slideshows that will walk you through the process of creating scripts, correlating the parameters, and really making it easier for users to get started. We're also moving our documentation to the public-facing internet very soon, which will allow you to search for answers using Google or whatever search engine. And in Performance Center, we've added a number of enhancements which will make it easier for you to get value from your overall performance testing process. So number one, in version 12.2, we've actually moved a number of components to a pure web interface. So no longer do you need to download the full ALM client, the sort of ActiveX client that is part of the ALM platform for most of the activities in Performance Center. The only ones that are left the only area that's left, I should say, is lab management, where you would add hosts, add users, and create projects, everything else can be accessed via a standard or just a regular browser. So Chrome and Safari support is included here, and you can access this from different platforms as well. We've also included a number of additional reports for test trending and protocol granularity so that you can understand your usage over time. And we've improved performance on both the Performance Center user interface, but also on the VUGen side. As moving to the 11.5 Sharp developed platform in VUGen has taught us a lot of things. We're continuing to improve performance of that product. And another piece I wanted to point out before we move to the next major area is TrueClient. TrueClient, introduced in version 11, is a real differentiator for HP. It's something that a lot of customers are using to test earlier and more often in the life cycle than we could in the past. One of the challenges of TrueClient is object recognition. So if your application has a lot of dynamic components that can change in different positions or names, or even have different objects appear on the page for each user in a test, then one of the challenges was, if I need to navigate through those dynamic components, we would have to build very complex XPath statements or some sort of custom function in JavaScript that would enable us to recognize those objects. In version 12.02, we've introduced this concept of descriptors, which will allow you to create a number of sort of attributes, or attach to a number of attributes for a given object, so that you can simply select the ones that are important to you, either position or size or shape or type, which will allow you to identify things much, much easier. So we've already spoken to a number of customers since the release on this, and it's enabled them to completely do away with their complex regular expressions or XPath queries and replace those with this very easy descriptors implementation. Another feature in LoadRunner 12.02 is the web controller. Now, this is a tech preview, so it is available to download and install and use on your LoadRunner instance. This is sort of a glimpse of where things are going in the future, and you can also get maybe perhaps a better view of where things are going if you were to look at StormRunner, which is available for trial on sas.hp.com. But for those of you who are using LoadRunner today, you can download this component from the lab network. It's actually automatically, or can be automatically installed from the LoadRunner installation initially, or you can install it at a later time. And it gives you an all-new interface for running performance tests. This is a complete rewrite of the controller. It's not a fancy web page on top of the old infrastructure. It's a completely new infrastructure to support your performance testing needs. And some of the sort of miscellaneous updates in this release, we're enhancing Citrix protocol for object recognition on different platforms. So one is the Java object support, and two is Windows 8.1 text trapping, as Microsoft has kind of evolved how they display text in the UI. It becomes necessary for us to implement changes to support that. Some other kind of high-level features, and I'll let you go through this on your own if you download the deck from the Vivid site after the webinar. We have a new web-based runtime setting, which is available in the VUGen application, as well as a number of protocol enhancements, particularly around web for things like prefetch and preload, TLS 1.2 support, and traffic filtering. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mukulika for a quick demo of the new and enhanced Performance Center UI.
Thanks, Shane. Let me start sharing my screen, and then we can start off. Can you see my screen, Shane?
Yes, I can. Thanks.
Okay. So before we start the demo, I wanted to reiterate what Shane showed is mainly what's new in 12.02 of LoadRunner and 12.2 of Performance Center. Those of you who are still on version 11.5 please go through what's new in version 12, because we made a lot of enhancement features and we made a lot of changes in version 12. So please go through those presentations and then go through the what's new in version 12.02 or version 12.2. With that, let me first do a 5-minute demo of Performance Center 12.2, and then I will move to StormRunner. This is a video. Since we didn't have too much time, so I decided to go with the video of Performance Center. So if you see that this is the new look and feel of Performance Center. So when you go to, say, a version 12.2, you go to the splash screen from where you can go to ALM, or you can go to lab management, or you can go to My Performance Center. And when you go to My Performance Center, you will see a complete new web interface for doing all your day-to-day performance engineering activities. So you don't have to go to the ActiveX control-based ALM screens anymore to do your day-to-day activities. As soon as you go to My Performance Center, you will see 4 tabs: Test Management, Runs and Analysis, Assets, and Start. In the Start dashboard, you will be able to see all the running tests. You will be able to see all the scheduled tests as well as the tests which have completed running. You will be able to extend the tests, the test schedules. You will see the finished test. You can say, okay, I want to now start to analyze and collate. You will be also able to see your resources, all your testing hosts, your last modified tests, everything in one single pane. And then when you want to drill down to a specific test, or when you want to design a new test or record a script, then you go to the other tabs like Test Management, Runs Analysis, and Resources. We have a calendar kind of view within the web UI itself, through which you will be able to create time slots. You will be able to schedule. You will be able to, while scheduling, you will be able to test. You will be able to select your test hosts. So everything that you could do in the ActiveX client, you can do in a web client, which is accessible through not only IE but Chrome and Safari on even Mac. So let me try to move a little faster. As you see, I'm creating time slots and scheduling it, and then the test is showing up in the central dashboard. Next, you can design a test. Over here, I'm selecting scripts. We have improved the performance of script upload significantly. We have invested in that area. And again, for none of this, you have to go back to the ALM ActiveX based client. You will be able to define, select the topology of your application. So not only we have moved the time slot and scheduling to the web client, we have moved topology and test design and everything. So other than basically lab administration and site admin, everything, all day-to-day activities you will be able to do from this new web client of Performance Center. So now I can show you how to do even test host management from this new UI. In version 12, we introduced support for spinning up load generators in Amazon, Azure, and HP Cloud. So over here, for instance, I'm trying to create load generators in Azure Cloud. All the traffic is outbound over configurable ports, and it even supports proxy. So for a lot of customers, you may not even have to do any firewall change, but for customers with very secure environment, you might have to do firewall change the first time. But once you do it, every time you want to run a test, you can just provision machines. All you have to do is enter your cloud account. So you have to have a separate cloud account, and you enter it within your LoadRunner Performance Center on-premise, and we can spin up load generators in the cloud, and then you can use those load generators and your own on-premise physical load generators in the same test. This was introduced in version 12 and has been enhanced more in version 12.2. So, as I said, all your day-to-day activities can be done from this new client. We have also introduced a trend graph to do trending very easily. We have introduced screens to create tests in like 2-3 clicks. So all of these are enhancements in version 12.2, which you should check out. With that, because of the time constraint, I'll stop the Performance Center demo and I'll move on to our new product, StormRunner. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the question pane and we can answer all of them at the end of the session. So what is StormRunner? We're talking about StormRunner version 1.3, but if any of you in the audience don't even know what is StormRunner, feel free to go to sas.hp.com and you can always set up a trial for StormRunner. It is HP's newest cloud testing product. So we have LoadRunner, we have Performance Center. We have Performance Center which can be run on-premise as well as on SaaS as a hosted managed model. And then we have StormRunner, which is a completely new cloud testing product which we launched October last year, which is built from scratch and which is going to be the new platform of our load testing or performance testing products. So as Shane was saying that today's StormRunner is a SaaS product, but in very near future we are going to bring it on-premise and it will be our next generation LoadRunner and Performance Center with different capabilities and but built on a totally new technology platform, Node.js, JavaScript. And we have simplified the product, but it will have all protocol support and everything that you need today, but also all futuristic needs. So, let's talk about StormRunner quickly before we move to StormRunner version 1.3 features. The three main keywords by which we describe StormRunner is it's simple, smart, scalable. Why is it simple? You can design and create a load test under 10 minutes. When projects are moving towards Agile, it is very critical to make sure that you can script very easily, run tests very easily, see results, everything in real time. Today, the StormRunner Load is a performance testing cloud product for web and mobile apps, but when we bring it on-premise, it is going to support all kinds of protocols as well. Why is it smart? It is using intelligent and predictive analytics for fast problem detection. So not only you see all the results in real time while you're running your test, but also using machine learning, we do anomaly detection to show while running the test how your application is supposed to behave, and if it starts behaving outside the expected range, we raise alerts for anomalies. And thirdly, it is highly scalable. We have customers who are not only running million virtual user tests, we are looking at some customers who want to run even 10 million virtual user tests. So we spin up load generators very fast. Within a couple of minutes, your test gets ramped up, and then you can run huge load tests. Now, Shane talked about cloud testing, and as well as I demoed spinning up load generators in LoadRunner and Performance Center. And then we are talking about StormRunner, which is a pure cloud testing product. So today, if you have LoadRunner and Performance Center and you want to spin up a couple of load generators in external cloud so that you can test from different regions, you can do that. Or if you have large-scale load tests for your external-facing e-commerce or mobile apps, then you want to use a completely cloud testing product, and then you use StormRunner. What you can do is you can do your day-to-day activity using LoadRunner, take the same web HTTP or mobile application protocol and upload it to StormRunner. How does it work? User creates and executes a load test. So what kind of scripts do we support in StormRunner today? We support Fusion Web, HTTP, HTML, Mobile Application Protocol, SAP Web. We support True Client. So all the scripts we group into three different types: API, UI, and Dev. So under API, it is Fusion Web, HTTP, and Mobile Application Protocol and SAP Web. Under UI, it is TrueClient because we are trying to emulate real user interaction. We emulate browsers. So the scalability of TrueClient is not as much as Vusion, but TrueClient is very easy to script, and also it can capture all the client-side interactions which modern Web 2.0 applications are using. And when you are using a completely cloud testing product, you can spin up more machines, so you can scale TrueClient more. We also have a new scripting type called True API, which is a JavaScript-based scripting. It is basically like writing code to call any API, and it is grouped under API test. And lastly, we also support JMeter. So if you have development teams who are using open source JMeter and they want to use it for large-scale testing, you can also upload it to StormRunner and run it. And it is categorized as dev test. Today we support JMeter. Going forward, we will support other open source scripting as well. We are trying to make StormRunner a completely open platform, so it not only integrates with HP Sitescope, it integrates with New Relic, and in future it will integrate with other monitoring products like AppDynamics and Dynatrace as well. We have integration with web page tests. So let me talk about the new features in version 1.3 first. So for testing external facing apps, you have to, if your some companies allow testing it from any IP, they open up the test application to any IP, but some companies need IP whitelisting. So some of the new features are IP whitelisting. We not only spin up load generators in the cloud, we are also allowing to hook up on-premise load generators, especially if you want to test your SAP web application from a SaaS product, but you want to test it from your internal load generators because you don't want to open it up to external web. That's why we not only support cloud generators, we are hooking up on-premise LGs also. Then, as I said, we introduced JMeter. We integrate with New Relic other than Sitescope. To see client-side breakdown while your server is under load, we integrate with open source web page test, and I'm going to demo it. And then, as I said, that other than Vusion, True API, True Client, we support JMeter. We support a very easy way of generating HAR files and uploading it and generating Vusion script out of it, as well as converting REST calls to a script. So that if your testers don't even know how to create Vusion script, they can easily do it using this. Today we support Amazon, Microsoft Azure, and we have integration with HP Cloud, but we will be adding more cloud vendors in future. So let's quickly demo StormRunner. I will demo it live. So let's hope nothing goes wrong and it goes all smooth. So how do you access StormRunner? You go to sas.hp.com. By the way, under sas.hp.com, we have many products, some SaaS, and as well as we have LoadRunner. If you want to buy quickly some virtual user days to expand your load testing using LoadRunner and you don't want to go through a whole sales cycle process, you can go and buy virtual user days of LoadRunner using your credit card from here. But if you want to use a SaaS product like StormRunner, you go to StormRunner. Today we have trial accounts for StormRunner, so you can run a trial for 30 days with around 1,000 virtual user hour. So StormRunner is priced by hour because our cloud vendors charge us by the hour. So let me show how it works. So when you go to StormRunner, you create your trial account, you will get 30 days trial, and then if you want to extend or you want to buy, go ahead and you can buy it online or reach to your HP sales rep. As soon as you launch StormRunner, you see that you can script using LoadRunner, using True Client, using True API, as well as you can upload JMeter scripts. You can integrate it with your on-premise Jenkins using a Jenkins plugin, and then you can start your test. You can use the help. We have made this product very simple and self-serve, so you can go to help from here, read the docs. There are videos to help you, and then you can start testing. The interface is very simple. There are load tests, there are assets, and results. So as I said, you can either create scripts using Vusion, or say, for instance, you want to just use HAR files. So you go to your website, say www.hp.com, and you start, press F12, you will see the browser navigation. You see you can start recording. It automatically starts recording all your navigation. You see at the bottom of today's modern browsers can record all of this. You stop recording, and then you can save it as a HAR file, okay, which is a HTTP archive file. Then what you can do is you can go to StormRunner, and you can actually upload your HAR file, and then you will see it will automatically convert it into API test, and then you can take that test and run it. So now similarly, if you don't have a script and you want to test a REST interface, you can just give your REST API and convert it into a script, and you can run it. As well as you can go to assets, and you can upload your Vusion scripts, or your true client scripts. So how do you record true client? In StormRunner, we support recording true client using a true client plugin for Firefox. So if you see over here, sorry, my Firefox is having some issue, not my application. So I'm not that embarrassed. So suppose you go to hp.com and you want to record. Sorry, you want to record. You go to hp.com. Say you want to buy laptops. So as you see, and also as Shane said, you can easily customize your script. So agile teams use especially for testing complex Web 2.0 applications, love using true client. So then you save it, and then you upload it into StormRunner. So let's go and run a test. But before that, let me open another window of StormRunner so that I can show you. And sorry. Oh God. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Looks like okay. So let's go ahead and create a new load test. As you see, you can just upload a new script or add an existing from your assets that you have already uploaded, your scripts that you have already uploaded. Say ramp up is a minute. I want to run it for 5 minutes, and I want to tear down in a minute, and the number of virtual users I want to do is say 10,000. Okay, and then monitors. You can, as I said, select Sitescope or New Relic. For now, let's skip it, and then distribute the load from multiple locations around the world. So suppose I want to run 50% from Virginia, and say I am in the West Coast, so how about, or say Oregon, or say 50% from Oregon. And then I say my SLA is, say, 5 seconds, and then I can also say that while my backend application is under load, I want to also check what's going on in my front end. So I say okay, hp.com. So what will happen is we will spin up agents, single user agents, which will check your front end application while backend is under load, and it will check how this URL is behaving when the backend is under load. So I'm not going to let's run a test. Again, I'm not running a test against hp.com. I'm running a test against my peaceful app because if I run suddenly a 10,000 virtual user test. So, but whatever app you're running your test against, you can specify the URL to check your client-side behavior. Like while I'm spinning up machines and running and ramping up virtual users, this will take a couple of minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. Why don't I show you an existing test which I ran? So load test, let's go to say existing test which I have already run. So let's look at this test. This was a test which I ran with 1,000, and as you can see, once your test starts, within a couple of minutes you will start seeing all your results in real time. And this is a live demo, and obviously something has to go wrong when you're doing a live demo. Let's see how my other test is going. It is going fine. And why can't I see? Okay, so this is an existing test which I had run, and I want to show you the results, how it appears. And let's see. So in real time, you will be able to see all your parameters, all your metrics that you ran, whether it's running virtual user, hits per second, throughput, errors, transaction response time. You will be able to see all the transactions. You will be able to filter. You will be able to filter them based on location, scripts. You will be able to merge actually once. You can say merge the running virtual user with say hits per second or whatever you want to merge, and then you can split it into location and script, as well as you can set one test as a benchmark and you can compare it against another test. And let me look at another test that I ran instead of this. I don't know what's wrong with this test result. And see how my provisioning of other tests is going. See, it was just 2 minutes and all the hardware is initialized, all the load generators is initialized for the 10,000 user test. Now I'm setting up my results and my analytics server. So everything is done in real time, and then I'm setting up my navigation breakdown agents, and then I'm going to start ramping up my users. So let's in the meantime look at another test which I have run, and it was, I wanted to actually show you one with client-side response time. And so when a test runs, as I said, other than the server-side metrics, you will be able to, using integration with web page test, you will be able to see how your application actually looks from the front end. What is the breakdown of all the response time? What is the waterfall view? And in future, we will also give you optimization rules and optimization recommendations to check with your how to improve your client side. So let's see, it's almost done. It's been less than 4 minutes, and the last virtual users are ready. So it will start very soon. Now we have. Yes.
Could I interrupt you? Just in the interest of time, because we're about 5 minutes to the hour. Maybe we can leave this open while we talk about some of the questions or customer feedback that you have here, and then we can come back to it.
Yes. So thanks for the time check, Shane. So the customer feedback for StormRunner has been amazing. And as I said, that this will be the new platform for LoadRunner and Performance Center in future. We are working in parallel to bring this on-premise as soon as we can. 3 words to remember this product is simple, smart, scalable. And where to go? You can go to hp.com/go/SRL. or you can go to sas.hp.com. With that, let me open it up for questions, and while the test keeps running.
Thank you, Ms. Yulika. We do have a lot of questions, and we are not going to get to all of them, so I just want to remind everybody that the list of questions and answers will be included in the email with the recording of this webinar, which will be posted in the Pivot site sometime next week. But let's go ahead and get started. What are the major differences between LoadRunner and StormRunner Load?
So the difference between LoadRunner and StormRunner Load, is that the question?
Yes.
So huge difference actually in terms of technology and how the platform is built and delivered. Some of the values that StormRunner brings over and above what you can already get in LoadRunner. So as Mukalika mentioned, you can use your existing assets from LoadRunner in StormRunner and just continue testing as you would regularly, but in the cloud without having to worry about provisioning machines, connectivity, any of that, and get immediately usable results out of those tests. So hopefully when that test is running, we can show you some of the feedback that you get from StormRunner in a live test, which is very intelligent analysis. But besides that, it's a whole new platform for us. So it's completely rewritten from the ground up in Node.js. It's a very highly scalable platform. There's a lot that we can do here that we couldn't do using the LoadRunner Performance Center platforms. So we do encourage you to check it out, but we want to make sure that it's immediately usable by our existing customers. So if you're doing testing in the lab today with LoadRunner or Performance Center and you want to do tests in pre-production prior to going live, you can take those assets, drop them in the StormRunner, and get going right away.
Okay, great. Thank you, Shane. What's the difference between LoadRunner Web Controller 12.02 versus Performance Center Web Controller 12.20?
That's a good question. So for Performance Center customers, you'll note that there is the same controller underneath the web user interface of Performance Center. So the same controller that's resident in LoadRunner exists in Performance Center. What we were doing with the web controller is, again, that rewrite of the underlying infrastructure that supports load testing. So the controller is much more scalable. It's fully developed to be exposed to other platforms, so open and extensible, as Mukalika mentioned, callable from different CI systems or from the developer environment. All of these things that we wanted to do in LoadRunner for some time, but because of the technology that we were building on, we're sometimes unable to. So the web controller in LoadRunner is really just a preview of things to come. And as Mukalika mentioned, StormRunner is kind of the next evolution of this platform. And you will see the first release of StormRunner on-premise later this year.
Okay, great. Thanks. And that leads into our next question. Is the vision for StormRunner to replace LoadRunner sometime in the future completely?
That is an excellent question. And ultimately, the answer depends on the feedback from our customers. So whereas we have ideas on where we'd like the platforms to go, and there's things that we are doing to support that, of course, this is all based on your feedback. So StormRunner on-premise will be the first sort of iteration of that next evolution of these products. And based on adoption, customer feedback, we'll see how long it is before, if and when that takes hold. So, I don't want to make any early predictions and say, yes, it's going to replace LoadRunner Performance Center in the next 2 or 3 years. It really depends on how quickly can we evolve this to support our customer needs.
Okay, great. Thank you, Shane. We do have many more questions, but they will have to be answered offline in the interest of time. Would like to get to HP Discover slide before we end the session.
Actually, Paul, this is Sylvia. Can I interrupt you one more time? Before you go, before let the PMs go, I just want to have a question here for Shane or Mukalika. That is a question that was asked by several people regarding upgrade and migration. So some people are saying that they found some issues in the version 12 regarding performance, right? And I know that we improve a lot for version 12.20, but do you want to add something as well regarding to that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming from version 11 to version 12, you may have seen some changes in the platform that may have impacted performance. Of course, this is always the case when adopting a new architecture. So I would encourage you to update to the latest service pack or release of 12.02 or 12.20. And just for those of you who may be confused, and sorry, Sylvia, whoever's doing the background noise, if we get you to mute. The difference in the naming convention there is that Performance Center 2.0 is built, or sorry, 12.20 is built on top of the ALM platform, which is also 12.20 in this release. LoadRunner, which supports Performance Center, is 12.02, simply because we didn't have the same sort of major release impact that Performance Center and ALM had with their underlying database changes and schema changes, et cetera. So if you're using Performance Center 12.20, it is supported by LoadRunner 12.02. So just wanted to clear that up.
Great. Thank you, Sylvia and Shane. Good question. So to remind everybody, HP Discover is coming up June 2nd and 4th, Venetian in Las Vegas. The URL to register is www.hp.go/discover/visit. Give you a moment to write that down. Even if you're not lucky enough to attend, please share with friends and colleagues who may also be interested. There will be deep dive sessions offered the day before the conference. I've heard from many folks who attended these sessions that they're well worth the extra day and night, of course, in Vegas that you all can enjoy. But there will be deep dive sessions pertaining to Performance Center and LoadRunner. So look out for a list of those. Expect Vivit to be sending out a list of which deep dive sessions will be available sometime in the next month or so. Next slide, please. Just want to thank everybody for attending. It was a great session. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Mukalika. Thank you, Sylvia. There will be a short survey following the ending when you exit the session or we end the session. We appreciate your feedback and anything that can help us improve your experience in future webinars. Much appreciated. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, everybody have a good afternoon.